letter to Facebook concerning the orders from Washington, D.C. court published date, the 26th of September 2021. Author Mr. Salim Al-Kalam. This letter is being published in the Rohingya forum and sent directly to Facebook publicly and privately. Almost all ethnic Rohingya are using Facebook with the hope to let the world know about the crimes that have been committed by the Burmese government. This hope never ends to anyone's ideologies because it is a social media where more than 1/3 of the world population using or is familiar with its name and having a choice to use it for multiple purposes as a reliable social media for the users. Ethnic Rohingya have been working voluntarily and sending information and authentic videos directly from the places where genocide have been taking place in Arakan, Burma since 2012. Hundreds of thousands of pictures including videos of the victims have been uploaded on Facebook from time to time from various sources including ethnic Rohingya refugees from many countries instead of going through the history of persecution. In this letter, we want to explain to the owners or shareholders of Facebook how Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram has become famous in the Rohingya community worldwide since 2012. Ongoing genocide has reached its final stage and more than 100,000 Rohingya were kept in the internally displaced camp. Instead of letting them free in society, they are confined with armed forces and 24 hours of supervision. The importance of Facebook has been given as one of the most important social platforms for ethnic Rohingya and with individual or collective campaigns to reveal the truths. True Facebook, despite being blocked sometimes for uploading scary and bloody types of videos, the majority of the Rohingya worldwide have opened their first-time Facebook account with their last or first name as Rohingya or Ro at later date during the 2014 census in Burma. Facebook has been a very important tool of communication, sending videos and connect with everyone internationally. We have faced difficulties with explaining the usage and how to post a letter or video on Facebook. The fact behind this is because the majority of the Rohingya communities worldwide have no common understanding of its usage without interpretation in the Rohingya language. Otherwise, the individual should be able to read the original version or automatically translated the version from Facebook. The only saddened and hurtful feelings that we had on Facebook is being blocked, temporarily account closure or permanent, for uploading the photos and videos of the victims of ethnic Rohingya. Many have raised complaints about these concerns in Facebook posts. Let Rohingya and other communities in Facebook publish live videos directly from where ethnic cleansing, massacres, war crimes, genocide and emergency state etc. Rohingya Forum is also a user of Facebook page and always having the trust with this social media company would remain as one of the best platforms for the users, including for those having great or small faith within their perspectives, that this platform would be very helpful even for them to inform the world about what's happening to them and their children. Facebook should keep and submit all the pieces of evidence to Washington, D.C. court and as advised by the Honorable Judge. For instance, documents like videos, texts, demonstrations, voices, code words, hatreds, victims' videos, Rohingya activists and organization statements, requests, demands and communications which based on racism and double-standard agendas to prevent international communities from viewing the facts transparently, privately and publicly. Facebook is the largest social media network worldwide. By the third quarter of 2012, the number of active Facebook users surpassed more than 1 billion, making it the first ever social network that gained mass attention. Active users are those who have been online with Facebook for the past 30 days. During the first quarter of 2021, the company have stated 3.51 billion people were using the company's core products Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, or Messenger. Each month Facebook should also release and submit the documentation of how Burmese government officials campaign the hatred and exemption from punishment for committing crimes with or without government uniforms. The messages they campaigned from parliamentary levels to ground levels. Texts or voices used to campaign hatred, like comparing ethnic Rohingya with other ethnic backgrounds, calling Rohingya outsider color, or Bengali, similarizing ethnic Rohingya with animals. Creating or gossip agendas to vilify or nullify the international reports, including 444 pages of UN's fact-finding commission reports and other pieces of evidence of the crimes committed against ethnic Rohingya. Important documentation which shows their intentions through posting images like depicting the true story, using improper words, misleading the truths in communication, misquoting the international advice and recommendations, using or sharing the views or illustration which degrading the dignity and natural rights of ethnic Rohingya. Life standards of the civilians in Burma dramatically changed since the 2nd of February, 2021. After the country coup by the same militaries and reaching a state of living where people don't have enough food to survive. Burma, Myanmar remains a poor country with no improvement of living standards for the majority of the population over the past decades because the criminals have been ruling the country with impunity and treating other minorities inhumanely and brutally without any rules of law to be judged, rather than their planned paperworks to nullify the facts, with continuously blaming the victims rather than the perpetrators. Reports of human rights abuses by Burmese militaries Tamador, including abductions, murder, illegal detention, forced and child recruitment into armed groups, forced pottering, and extortion, restricting people's movements and confiscating people's wealth, including raping the daughters, mothers, wives or underage girls without fear. Ethnic Rohingya has been recognized as one of the most discriminated, persecuted and vulnerable ethnic minorities in this world by the United Nations. Therefore, Facebook users who are peaceful and seeking entertainment, including the traders, commerce, human rights, teachers, entrepreneurs, businesses, men, women, merchants, intellectuals, students, parliamentarians, courts of laws, and as a global villager community, need to prevent such inhumane acts in any country against a peaceful community, especially when they are minorities. The results of submitting the proofs to the court by standing with truths, facts, realities and discussion privately in Facebook companies, social networking apps and sites can help the victim get their rights, and the Facebook companies would remain eternally in the history of genocide prevention and books of humanity in relations to the genocidal case. In this 21st century, the Facebook company should reveal all the facts for whatever is required to punish the perpetrators, especially when the matter is in the court of law or international courts like the International Criminal Court, International Court of Justice and other courts. Courts have the right to seek evidence to make the orders concerning the 1948 Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide as of May 2021. There are 152 state parties to the Genocide Convention, representing the vast majority of sovereign nations. Facebook companies' database can help United Nations, including the judges, to make the order faster than the required time. On the other hand, positive views from every country's residents and the users would have more trust on Facebook. Wishfully, people would make more choices and get attractions, plus building hopes of trustworthiness from the poor residents and middle-class people who are using or intending to use Facebook. Facebook users have seen the news from various sources of media and with the interpretation that the federal court in USA, Washington, D.C. has ordered Facebook to hand over the genocidal documents to the court, handling over documents from Facebook Messenger, including WhatsApp's Messenger, Instagram etc., which are under the ownership of the Facebook company, is very important to save the victims. In summary, Facebook would gain positivity, people's trust, a history of humanity and more billions more users in the future. Finally, perpetrators who committed genocide would be punished, or at least the vulnerable ethnic Rohingya could be saved by UN by sending their United Nations peacekeeping operations.